don't have any. There we go. Looking for the internet. Hey, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. If some of you have watched me do this before, I often sit down to do this talk and reading and meditation without having any idea of what is going to come. And the truth is that I loaded the content that you see with this video almost an hour ago, and it's taken an hour to try to just get to push the button to say, okay, let's go, because I somehow I wasn't feeling it this morning. I haven't been. I've been like nothing was coming clear, and what I wrote, the content I wrote, this was about attachment, and to maybe describe attachment, to talk about where we attached, and of course, then what came out of it, I guess, is that my own attachment to the idea that for me to do this every morning, to sit down and to share with you every morning and do my reading every morning and we do a meditation together every morning, is am I attached to getting something or making it mean something, or to whether you or anybody else gets it or not. So I to speak about attachment kind of revealed my own attachment. And now I recognize that letting go of that attachment, to see it and then let it go, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody is absolutely perfect where they are. Everybody, and there's nothing, in a way, to get, and we are, living out our lives. We're acting out our lives in the manner that is perfect, and yet at the same time, some of us have a yearning or a desire or something that's burning inside that tells us that there's more. How can I how can I or you or all of us live in a way that's more aware, or more conscious, or more alive, or more free? And I know that Bill Wilson in the big book of AA talked about happy, joyous, and free. So there is a possibility, and he also spoke of the promises, and there's so many of them in the 12 in that big book. If you haven't read it, read it. And so we are attracted to those things. He says that we'll know a new peace, and we'll come to understand the word serenity. We'll see where our past and our stories can benefit others. We'll lose our fear of people and economic insecurity. So those are all things that I was interested in. Those are a description of awakening. We'll intuitively know we'll intuitively know solutions to situations that used to baffle us, and when we'll know somehow that it's because of our awareness of our connection to consciousness in the moment. And consciousness is sometimes what I call my higher power, and what I call God. And so I think, without any attachment, and that's the trick, I think, is for me anyway, to share just with love and not with attachment. It doesn't, I can't get a stick out and beat anybody. And yet, if I ever do get a stick out and beat anybody, it's because, is it because I have an attachment to them getting it? Or maybe do I just trust in the moment that that's appropriate, and that we're looking for somebody to kind of really tell us, hey, wake up. And so maybe it is in the moment. Who knows, because where I'm attached often is judgment of myself. You shouldn't have done that. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Isn't that crazy, eh? So attachment, I mean, we can talk about just basic attachments. We're, attached to the idea of who we think we are, that we're a mother, we're a father, or that we're, I'm a granddad, whatever. I am, in a way, those are all parts of this play that I'm in called life. But recognizing that I can hold all of those things lightly, without attachment. Lightly, without attachment. People come and go. Everybody comes and goes. Nothing in this matrix, I don't know how else to call it without sounding like in a conspiracy theorist, but it's moving. It's not fixed, it's moving. The only thing that's fixed is this consciousness. It's always there because all of this is in that consciousness. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All of this is in that consciousness, and so it's vibrating and it's moving and it's expanding and contracting, and people come and go and stuff comes and goes, and this body comes and goes. Look at we maybe we go to the gym every day and we do everything we can to keep it in, because we don't want it to go. We're enjoying the process, and nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with anything. It's all perfect in each moment. When I read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, we don't need die. We don't die. We change form, and everything in this world just changes form. So, this is the deal. My intent is to be here on a daily basis as I read this book from the 24-hour day book, and we read it together, and to just share that there is a possibility to see ourselves, know thyself. I think Socrates or Plato said, know thyself, self-realization, and we see that at one level in the self, we're caught in. We're in a, often to greater or lesser degrees, in the illusion of right and wrong, good and bad, in the illusion of that, of fear. See, when we're looking at things from right or wrong, then or good or bad, if we judge things as bad, sometimes fear comes up, and then fear gives it more value, if you will, or more solidity, more solid, and so we see that when we recognize that it's all one, there's nothing right or wrong or good or bad. Fear has nothing to hook onto. It's gone. We lose our fear. We see that, and we call that God, and that's okay. We can call it whatever we want. Call it universal intelligence. Call it, the peace that passeth all understanding. But we don't have to look for it. It's here. We're in it, and that's, I guess, my message over and over and over and over. All right. I don't feel very inspiring this morning, so that's it. Isn't that great? I'm sitting here with my daughter in her home in Squamish, and it's beautiful to be here. It's a beautiful life. Okay, you guys. I'm just going to read. It's December 2nd. December 2nd. And I've been reading from this little book. Hi, Jackie. I've been reading from this little book that was written in 1954. And it's an amazing, and today's thought for the day, and this was written for the 12-step community at the time. And today's thought for the day The thoughts that come before having a slip seem to be partly subconscious, and yet is likely that at least part of these thoughts get into our consciousness. An idle thought connected with drinking casually pops into our mind. That is the crucial moment. Will I harbor that thought even for 1 minute, or will I banish it? He talks about banish as if it's right or wrong or good or bad. And I say, just let it go. To see it, because when I think of, where do thoughts like that come from, and I recognize that I'm not my thoughts, and that any more than I am my body. Sometimes we feel like we are that, we're attached to this, or we're attached to our thoughts, but we can treat them in a way with some kindness. When the thought comes, we know it is kind of a crazy thought. Instead of banishing it, like he said, we can just say, "Wow, look at that." I treat my ego often like a wayward teenager. It's like, and so rather than beat it up, I just say, "Hey, come on, that's not going to happen. We're not doing that." And then it's gone. I don't give it any energy, no againstness. Okay. The ideal thought connected with drinking, the idle thought connected with drinking casually pops into our mind. That is the crucial moment. Will I harbor that thought even for 1 minute, or will I banish it from my mind at once? So banish, or let it go, or don't pick it up. Just to give it no energy. If I let it stay, it may develop into a daydream. We may begin to see a cool glass of beer or a martini cocktail in my mind. If I allow the daydream to stay in my mind, it may lead to a decision, however unconscious, to take a drink. And then I'm headed for a slip. Do I let myself daydream? No. And that's about everything. In our minds, we were fantasizing about somebody liking us or not liking us, or we fantasize about being successful or not successful. Just to let them go. Those things take us out of the moment. We become attached to it, and then we judge ourselves if something doesn't happen the way we thought we were going to. And again, we're in the illusion again. We're like, we're like a pinball. Meditation for the day. Many of us have some sort of vision of what sort of man God wants us to be. We must be true to that vision, whatever it is. And we must try to live up to it by living the way we believe we should live. We can all believe that God has a vision of what he wants us to be like. In every man, there's a good man, which God sees in him. The man he could be, the man God would like to have him be. But many a man fails to fulfill that promise, and God's disappointments must be many. So he's really in his... one of the things that I realized is a lot of teachings, and this fellow's teachings as well, creates a God that's a separate God. And, and that's one of the difficulties that many of us have when we come into the 12-step world, is connecting with this idea of a separate God, that we need to be good so that God won't be disappointed. So he's personified, he's objectified, and even though I'm reading his work, and sometimes it's really spot on, there's days like today when I see that, we can see that there's a deeper way to connect with this universal intelligence than in a story of a separate God. And that's what I hope to give on a daily basis, is that realization that we are that. And Bill said it so well. I think I repeat this a lot, but in We Agnostics, he said, God either is or he isn't. Either he's everything or he's nothing. What is your choice to be? And like so well said, we're not talking about a separate God. If he's everything, he's everything. And there's nothing there's no disappointing that. Everything is that. And so we drop out of the separateness of our little story of ourselves and realize that we are one with that. And that we still have our lives, and without attachment, happy, joyous, and free, we can live those. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may strive to be the kind of a person that God would have me to be. I pray that I may try to fulfill God's vision of what I could be. Well, that's his writing for today. That was written in 1954, and we started reading that May the 1st. How many months ago was that? May, June, July, August. I need my fingers, right? September, October, November. That's 7 months. We're over halfway through the year reading, and I kind of made a light commitment to myself to do this for a year. We'll see, without attachment, and then maybe something else will come. I enjoy this, and maybe something else will come where we're doing something on a daily basis. If anybody has an idea of another reading, as we get closer to that, we'll look at that. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to take a couple of minutes and meditate. It is 11:11. Look at that in Vancouver, 11:11 here, whatever that means. The magical meaning-making machine we call our mind is always making meaning. Meaning is always around, this is good and that's bad. So we're going to meditate for a few minutes. And I'd love you to join me. And the reason I do this is, for a lot, there's a lot of reasons to meditate, but the reason that I decided to do this and share this is because so many people have said to me over the years, I don't know how to meditate. How do I meditate? I'm not sure how to do this. And so we're going to do it together. And that's the deal. And if this time together helps you to become, more of a more interested in meditation, really feel the gift of meditation, and then that's great. Not, that's okay too. Okay. So I could just get you to, you can join me? Mm-hmm. You want to meditate? To close your eyes. We can just close our eyes. We're going to drop into this moment. And if you're feeling a little restless or irritated or from anything that's going on, we're just going to suggest that you leave that for the moment. You can pick it up later, but just leave it out of this moment. Just leave it out of this meditation. We're just going to drop in. And so close our eyes and get comfortable. Some of us may need to support our back, and some of us can sit straight without support. It just, however your body likes to be, is fine. So just take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose. Just allow the breath to bring us into this space, to this quiet space without a phone, without any technology, without any conversation. And we drop into this space through our breath. You may feel that our body starts to relax and the tension starts to roll out of our shoulders or hips, and our jaw. Sometimes you hold tension in our jaw, our neck. Just feel into our body as it just starts to settle. We're just going to drop into right now and recognize that sometimes thoughts come up or attachments come up because of habit, right? perceived needs or perceived wants. Maybe something's really bothering you today. You didn't make the rent yesterday, just let it go. Somebody who you thought should have called didn't call, just let it go. Maybe sometimes we're thinking, what's life really about? And in the moment, there's no about. There's no next. There's just now. There's no what ifs. There's no shoulds or coulds. There's just now. Using the breath to be here. We're going to drop back into the real you. The real you is beyond thought, beyond the body. But in the body, as we expand into this moment, we recognize that we are consciousness. We're so much more than the body. In a way, in an expanded way, bigger than the small space we occupy. And what we perceive as us, perceive ourselves as the body. But now we're going to let go of that. Just drop into nothing. If thoughts come, just let them go. Just be patient with the thoughts. They only get hooked on where if we give them energy. So for now, no energy. Just let it go. Just drop back. Come back to the breath. If thoughts come in, just let them go. Back to the breath. We begin to sense the stillness, the emptiness, the expandedness. can just come back now. Just drop back in. You can do that any time of the day, anywhere. There's sounds, just include them. Thank you. Thanks. See you tomorrow.